Hey, welcome back to our studios here at Monadnock Flooring. You're on a culinary journey all about pasta, and I'm here with Ron and Matt, the flooring guys here at Monadnock Flooring, and we are going to make Alfredo sauce. You guys like Alfredo sauce? Love it. Have you ever made it at home?
No.
Why?
I'm scared of it.
Okay. and probably because everybody thinks there's so many steps involved, how hard it can be. We're going to demystify the Alfredo sauce, add a little punch to it, and make it really quick. And we're going to do it so fast you can't blink an eye. All right, so first, a little oil in our pan, right? I have these silver diamond pans, which are great. They're actually coated, and what's great about them is that they hold the heat equally throughout, so I can make a sauce without worrying about burning it or scorching it or any of those things. So we got it on medium-low. I'll just get my oil a little bit hot, and what I'm going to add is some shallots. I love shallots. Now, we'll turn it up just a little. I want to get a nice sizzle on those shallots. People at home don't usually do shallots. I like to say that the main difference between home cooks and restaurant cooks is our love for shallots. And I like the crunch, I like the feel, and I like the flavor. They're not overly flavored like an onion would be. Like if you added onions to this, sometimes they're a little strong. Mm-hmm. So we stay away from doing onions. So we'll get the shallots in there, we'll get them cooking, and reduce the heat in the pan just a little bit with the shallots. Now the other thing I'm adding in, and something different, is a little bit of roasted garlic. Now what I did with this garlic, and I'll show it another time on the show, took the garlic, roasted it in a blended oil for a good long time, and then what we did is pureed it. So now I have wonderful garlic I could use at any time that's not quite as strong and also has a burning point that's a little bit less and adds more sweetness to the dish. So we have our garlic and our shallot. We're going to season that with a little salt and pepper, and then a little bit of our Ariosto spice, and we're going to just mix it around. You guys getting that flavor already? Smelling the shallots and the garlic together. Two of our favorite things. We're going to add a little bit of butter to this, because the thing about Alfredo sauce is the one thing you don't want to do is skimp on butter or cream. All right? Butter is just going to add a nice finish to this. It's Alfredo sauce generally is a cream sauce, right? But a little bit of butter in your Alfredo is going to go a long way in flavor. So we'll get it in there. We're seasoning our onions and our shallots and our garlic together with the butter. That looks so good.
It smells great.
Doesn't that? Mm-hmm. We'll deglaze with a little bit of white wine, and it just could be any type of decent white wine that you would drink by the glass too. Doesn't have to be an expensive wine, but it definitely will never be anything that's labeled cooking wine, because that just has no flavor. Now, traditionally in the past, what Alfredo sauces were, let's get this up a little higher because I want to really get the cream cooking in there, were started with a bechamel. Now, a bechamel is a sauce of butter, milk, flour, and it's one of those mother sauces, right? So, but since people started using heavy cream, this heavy whipping cream or heavy cream, since they started doing that, you were able to come up with a sauce that cooks together pretty quickly. This is 36% fat or more in your heavy cream, and it acts as a binding agent and it acts as a thickening agent all at the same time. So all I really need to do is now let this cream reduce, and that's how quick it can be. So what looks like just a watery cream sauce is going to reduce nicely. So we'll get that up, we'll crank that up a little higher. We season in different stages of the dish, right? So we want to season salt, pepper, get some more cracked pepper in there. And we're only missing one thing. What do you think that one thing is, Matt?
Pasta.
Pasta. One more.
Cheese.
Cheese. There we go, guys. Cheese and lemon. What you'll find that I'll do at every point in time, I'll add a little bit of citrus in whatever I do. And just that little bit of citrus is just going to pop and make a big difference. So we'll add a little bit of lemon juice. Now remember, I said this is an Alfredo sauce just with a little pop added to it. And that's where our pop will come from. Save this for later. And we'll let that reduce. Now, as this reduces, we're going to start adding our cheese. We have all our ingredients in there. Hot pepper or no hot pepper? Maybe skip it for the next one?
Sure.
All right, we'll do it on the next one. All right, dude. This is a show that's made around you guys, so don't worry about what you put in there. So, and you'll start seeing this kind of come together a little bit. And here's where we're going to add our cheese. Now, the thing about what you want to be careful about is adding your cheese too early. If we add it before the sauce starts thickening, and especially if you don't have one of these pots that have that are coated so it doesn't stick to it, what you'll find is the cheese will just clump up and stick to the bottom. I'm using a wooden spoon, mainly because I don't want to put any grooves or cuts into what I'm making here. And I have it on high. A lot of people are worried about when I'm doing creams, about it curdling like you would if you did milk or what have you. Heavy cream's not going to curdle on you. It will overflow, so continuously stirring is not a bad thing in this case. And this is our Alfredo. So time-wise, we didn't cook too long, right? No. Just watch what happens next. That sauce is starting to thick. And what we call nappe, if you guys could get this, is where you coat a spoon or anything and you just run your finger through and the sauce is separated. That's a nappe in French terms, culinary terms. And what that's saying is that our sauce is actually reducing down. So now I'm going to lower the heat, and always remember we're in control. So we lower the heat just a little bit and we put just a touch of cheese in there, right? Just a little bit of cheese.
That's a touch.
Yeah, a little more, right? Okay, I thought so. Yeah. So we do a little cheese in there. And now I'm going to shut this off right now, or put it on low and let it finish. And then we're going to just stir in the cheese into our Alfredo sauce and let it melt in there. Now, I'm a one-pan kind of guy. What I like to do is get everything in one pan. Got to incorporate the cheese. I might have put just a little too much, but that's not a bad thing because I've made my pasta. I'm going to incorporate that into there too. And I don't have to clean too much. I dislike cleaning. You know, that's why they don't let me cook at home. So we'll just, look at all that cheese kind of get in there. Your fettuccine Alfredo. I should find out what the actual, does that look good, guys?
Yes, very good.
There we go. Let's get all that cheese incorporated. I should find out what the history for Alfredo is. Maybe I'll do that at some point. But what we've done is we've incorporated all our cheese and our cream with the pasta. Now, you don't pour your Alfredo over the pasta. You want to mix it in with it. So we get that all mixed in. And a little more black pepper, because I'm all about the black pepper with Alfredo. And voila, let's see where we go here. Just a little bit for you.
Looks great.
Just a touch. Oh boy.
That's okay. Here,
And
thank you.
A little bit for you. And voila, our first dish is done, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dig in, have a good time with that. We have fettuccine Alfredo, one of the simplest dishes, and we did it right here on TV in no time. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you in a culinary minute. Hi there, and welcome to this Culinary Minute. I'm Luca Paris. We're going to be talking about knives. I use some great knives from Wusthof on the show, and of course, I get them from my friend here, Dean at Your Kitchen Store, and we have some great knives. I mean, you have an amazing collection of knives, but Wusthof makes a beautiful knife. Why don't you tell me a little bit the difference about this and other knives, and what makes a good knife?
Sure. One of the things I love about Wusthof is that it's made in one factory in one piece in Germany. A lot of other companies have their steel forged around the world, in China, Brazil, wherever, and assemble it back at the factory. What you're holding is called a santoku. The number one workhorse of the kitchen is an 8-inch chef knife. They've taken the American 8-inch chef knife and combined it with a Japanese vegetable knife and come up with what they call the santoku, which is really the most popular knife on the cooking shows these days. It has these little cull marks here, which allow you, when you're slicing, to allow blood to flow through so you make straighter slices on your meat, or vegetables or cheese to have air pockets which allow it to fall off the blade.
Wow. So that things don't get stuck to the knife. One of the things people would say is pricing of knives. The better they get, the more expensive they are. But what's the advantage to having a more expensive knife?
The biggest factor is the quality of the steel, whether it's going to rust or not, whether the edge is going to roll faster, and that's what happens when a knife gets dull. Microscopically, it has rolled, and a softer steel or a cheaper steel is going to roll more often and be harder to put an edge on and maintain an edge. So when you're paying for an expensive knife, you're usually going to get an edge that will last longer and never tarnish.
Well, one of the things, the knives that I get from you are lasting me forever, and I love them. And in this Culinary Minute, we learned more about knives. Dean, thank you very much.
Okay.
Hey there, welcome back, everybody. We did our fettuccine Alfredo that was quickly devoured by my on-set guests, Matt and Ron, our floor guys here at Monadnock Flooring. And now, what we're going to be making is penne alla vodka, Again, another simple dish. I'm going to go over and say hi to the guys again. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How was it? The Alfredo good?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Awesome.
You have to tell everybody, though, we didn't just eat that. It
No,
was shared.
everybody
Okay,
ate it.
all right.
No, it went pretty
Yeah.
quick. Well, our next dish is something that we make at the restaurant a lot. But again, it's one of those things people go, how do you make it? Can I do that at home? And that's what we're going to do is penne alla vodka. And luckily, I found some Absolute Citron, which I don't know where that came from, but we found some Absolute Citron to make this with. So let's get back to our pan and get cooking. Little olive oil and heat in the pan on medium-high. We're going to add our pancetta first. It's the most important ingredient. Pancetta is a cured bacon from Italy that is basically, or it could be made in the United States, but basically what they do is take the same items like a bacon, or take the same thing like a bacon, and cure it in salt. Where bacon is sometimes smoked, this pancetta is cured in salt. You could actually, what's great, and people always cringe at this, but I'm telling you about it, take sliced pancetta, a little bit of tomato, lettuce, extra virgin olive oil on a sandwich. It's phenomenal. So if you like, it's an Italian version of a BLT, but you don't even have to cook it. What we're doing is rendering some of the fat out of the pancetta, which is mostly fat, just like bacon is. And we want to add that to the flavor of what we're going to be making as far as the penne alla vodka. So we get that cooking. We're going to go over here. We're going to get our roasted garlic and add that to it. Now, however you like your pancetta to be rendered down, some people really like it crispy, like you do bacon. They like that real crispiness. I like to get a little chewiness from it because it's going to cook a little bit more as we go. Now, the other thing that we're going to do, what you need to know about it, sometimes people say to me, well, I can't find pancetta, right? Do you say that, guys? I can't find pancetta?
Yeah, I
okay,
do.
great, good, thanks for
Yeah,
that.
no problem.
So you can't find pancetta. What do I use? Well, don't use bacon unless you like that smoky flavor. What you want to use is prosciutto or pancetta. Those are more similar, but they're both cured items and they both work the same way. So we have shallots added to the dish. Again, I love shallots. What we're going to do is take this away just a little bit, and we're going to add some of our vodka. And we're going to just bring that back. We don't want to get any flame. Oh, look at that. I was wrong. All right, when you do it at home, basically you don't want to do that when you're at home unless you know what you're looking for. What I'm doing is flambeing, and here's the thing. Flambe, how important is it to the dish? A little bit. What you want to do is cook off some of that bitterness that alcohol has right off at the top. And by flambeing, you're helping that evaporate. Now, when you're doing it, my recommendation is pull it away from the stove and get it back on as evenly as possible. When you put it and tilt it just a little bit, the fat molecules pop up with the vapor spray, and the alcohol is kind of pulled up with it, and pow, that's where we have that excitement. It looks great for camera, though, and nothing went off. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. That's our little test to see if we're going to turn on any alarms here. From there, we're going to add a little bit of marinara sauce. I pre-make my marinara sauce, of course. I like making my own. But if you wanted to use a sauce that you pre-buy, that's fine also. We're going to let that cook in there. So we have shallots, garlic, pancetta. We need to season. We didn't season until this point. We'll get a little seasoning in there. And we'll let that cook down a little bit. What do you think, guys, so far?
Smells great.
Yeah,
Looks great.
nice flavors.
Yeah.
Really easy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we really didn't do too much. Again, it's in one pan. This will be enough for two. And then we're going to add our cream, our magic cream. That's the magic part of the whole show, is how it really brings together all these flavors around it. Before we made a straight cream sauce, and that straight cream sauce was the Alfredo. And now we're going to use it in our penne alla vodka to just break down all the other strong flavors. The pancetta is strong, the shallots are strong, the garlics are strong. And then you got this great tomato, and now you're just going to bring it all together with the cream. So now we're just going to kind of move that around in the pan and let that come together. And get our pasta ready and come back over and talk to the guys here. And we also have a bottle of wine we're going to drink with this segment. Why not? Can't have pasta without wine, right?
Correct.
Can't have vodka and pasta without wine. It's all about that. So this is a bottle of Rosso Piceno, which is a blended Sangiovese and Montepulciano grape. These two grapes work well together. The Montepulciano, what you're going to have on it is, initially, it's going to have that nice big mouthfeel, right? and then afterwards, it's going to go smooth. That Sangiovese is a smoother grape. And that's our wine segment of the day. Yeah? And we're learning a little bit about everything here. So you guys usually drink wine or with your pasta? Or
Well, I was going to ask why red?
why red
Yeah.
with pasta? For me, it's red with cream.
Okay.
Anything that's heavy and rich and has this real big body to it, whether it's pasta, whether it's even a fish. If I'm doing a cream sauce around fish, sometimes I like nice smooth red wine. So that was a great question too. Here you go, gentlemen. Enjoy that because your pasta's coming up soon. And in less time than it takes to open a bottle of wine, we started getting a nice cream sauce. So look at that as I move it away from the pan. See how it leaves a little bit. It's like parting the Penne vodka sea. So let's turn this down. And as I did before, that was fun.
That was good.
Come on, that was
funny.
good. I come up with these on the fly. As I did before, what I'm doing is incorporating the pasta into the sauce. Penne rigate, that's what these are. Penne rigate. Rigate just means ridges, right? And so what we're doing is we take the ridges and we get the sauce incorporated into the whole thing. That's what it's all about all these flavors coming together. And just a little bit of a toss, which takes just a little practice not to dirty our beautiful stove there. And we have the sauce incorporated. It's nice and rich and thick. And the only thing I need to do is get it over to these guys with their wine. And here we go, a little bit for you, my friend.
Thank you.
So this design center that we're in right now is pretty awesome. We have a lot of different things in here, and we'll probably get a scan around the place. But this was built, and the set was built with the idea of displaying kitchens, but then was it with the idea of you eating all the time too, right?
Absolutely.
So then you called me up and made me cook for you.
Yeah, it worked out perfect.
And it works out great for all of us. Here we go, a little Parmigiano cheese over the top. And let's give it a shot, guys. Try it out. That's our second pasta dish. Now we're going to come back and do a little bit more variety. Right now we've just done tomato and cream or just straight cream and cheese, but we're going to start adding vegetables to it. So for those of you looking for a great vegetarian dish, dig in, guys, because it's always good to eat now while it's hot. And when you're thinking about a really good vegetarian dish, now how do we finish that with cream? You'll see it all right after this Culinary Minute. Hey everybody, welcome back to a culinary journey here at Monadnock Flooring in the Design Center. And we're going to make our last pasta dish. Make sure we got our heat going on perfectly. A little olive oil. This idea about the cream being a good conduit to flavor, let's put it that way. It's that whole culinary journey concept just brought through the cream. And we're going to finish our last one where a lot of people always ask me for a vegetarian option that has a lot of fun flavors like tomatoes and peppers and onions. Well, we're going to make that right now with our cream sauce. And joining me in our last segment, again, as the whole time, and a bottle of wine later, are Matt and Ron, the flooring guys here at Monadnock Flooring. How's it going, guys?
Great.
You having a good time on the show?
Food is fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's getting everybody hungry at home, which is a good thing. Well, we're going to start very similar to the way we started before, which was shallots and garlic and starting to get our flavors incorporated in a hot pan. Now, one thing you might have noticed if you've been watching the show straight through is that I'm using the same concept. And you don't have to use the same ingredients. The same concept in cooking is getting the pan hot with the oil and then starting to cook my ingredients little by little and layering flavor. And that's really what you want to do. You don't need to take away a recipe from the show every time, but taking away the idea of how to prepare one pan, make it easy, that's what I'd love you to bring home. So let's start with that. I'm going to just reach over and make sure I get my towel for this segment because never want to be without it. We'll get those shallots cooking. What I'm going to add to the shallots are some pre-roasted grape tomatoes, these are grape tomatoes. I actually pre-roasted them in the oven. You could do them straight from raw. That works out well too. And then we're going to also add some peppers. And we're just going to cut those down. Hey, come back here. And what I like is different textures and different flavors. We're going to get a little crunch. We'll get a little soft. We get the sweet acidity from the tomatoes. And then we're going to get a nice crunch and pepperiness from the peppers. So we'll get those in there cooking. All right? We got that. And I know I talked about not using onion, but sometimes I got the shallots in there. Sometimes a little red onion goes a long way. So let's just get that going. And we're going to just kind of do a long julienne. Again, not too long, but just enough so that you know it's going to fit on the fork, right? You ever have onion soup? And I'm going to do an onion soup show with my mom someday, but you ever have onion soup and the onions are just way too long and they hang off the spoon? But we don't want to do that in what we're doing. Now we're getting some nice caramelization. If you check out the pan, you'll see some nice browning on the shallots, and we're going to let the vegetables caramelize. It's bringing out their natural sugars. So we're going to just let that go on. We always talk about every show, what are the differences between what a chef does at home and what a chef does in a restaurant? What you're watching is it. I'm talking right through this because I really want it to caramelize. As I flip this, I'm starting to get these brown spots on everything that really are getting that caramelization going and bringing out more flavor. So guys, so far so good?
Smells
like
great.
those flavors?
Yeah.
And you see, I'm not afraid to just let it cook. I'm on medium-high heat. This kind of takes some time to really get used to letting yourself do. I mean, walking away and just letting it cook and feel comfortable with. But once you get that, that's where you get the intensity of flavors. Now this pan, again, well, we're at medium. This pan, what's great about it, it's even heat. It can lose some of that oil and still cook, which is great. You don't need a lot of oil in there. We're going to add lemon juice to this too. Remember, guys, I love lemon juice. Whoa, we're going to almost deglaze the pan with the lemon juice. That looks good. We lost a seed in there, but that's okay. And then we'll deglaze with a little bit of white wine too. And white wine, especially with tomatoes, white wine likes to extract even more flavors. Tomatoes give more flavor, the peppers give more flavor with a little white wine, so your alcohol works great. Now, some people will say, well, what do you do if you don't want alcohol in there? A little water or chicken stock or vegetable stock work well also. So let's get a little more seasoning in there.
You can smell the difference already.
You see that?
Yeah, you
how
can.
How that comes out. And we'll put our little roasted garlic a little bit later on. We don't want that to burn too early, but roasted garlic doesn't burn like we showed in the other other segments. If you're using fresh garlic, definitely add it at this point. All right, so we got our flavors. Last thing I want to add is start adding some color. This is broccolini that was pre-blanched. A broccolini is, let's say, a cross between broccoli and broccoli raw. Broccoli raw, a little bit bitter, has a little heavy bitter flavor. Broccoli is okay. Broccolini, marriage of the best of both worlds, where you could eat the stem and everything. Look like little baby broccoli almost. And then this is the point where we add our cream, right? Got all these flavors coming together, and now we just want to bring them together a little tighter. But we don't need a heavy cream sauce for this. I don't want a heavy, heavy cream sauce like we did with the vodka or the Alfredo, but just enough so we have a sauce for our pasta. So far, so good, huh?
Smells great.
Looks good. Then we're going to add, lastly, a couple of last-minute items, a little bit of goat cheese. Now, you don't have to add the goat cheese. I like goat cheese when it's combined with a couple of different things. It is a little pungent, a little less than gorgonzola might be, but it's got some nice complexity and flavor that just kind of goes through the whole dish. And we'll just let that kind of soften up in there. I don't want it to be I don't want the goat cheese to be cooked through so it's soft. I just want to be able to let it soften so that way you get a little bit of cold too from the goat cheese. Some fresh herbs. And my final touch. You think this is complicated enough, all these items? A little bit of arugula pesto for some bitter. And that'll give it even more green. So we'll kind of mix all that together. Our nice vegetable sauce. Watch how good this comes out. And then we're going to add our pasta. Once again, following the same routine we've been doing all day, is adding your pasta to the sauce. And we're using here orecchiette, which mean little ears. Okay. And that's actually what they are. Actually, when you look at orecchiette, when they're made fresh, they're made with a thumbprint. There I go, sticking my finger in the sauce, but this one will come out. But they're actually made with a thumbprint. You see that? I talk about that on the radio show all the time. I can never really show it, but now I can. There you go. All right. You didn't think that was going to happen. It's all the wine we've been drinking on the show. So we just add that. We'll give it a little more heat. And these guys don't mind that my fingers were in their pasta, I hope. So we'll find out. But we'll bring this over here. And vibrant colors, right?
Very
guys?
nice.
There's great flavors, vibrant colors, all those great things. There you go. You got a lot of broccolini. And you get the rest of that, sir.
Nice.
There you go.
I think I'll get attacked for that.
Yeah. And now, if you like, you can add a little bit of fresh goat cheese over the top or some parmigiano, but I think you're going to enjoy it the way it is. And this is our vegetable dish. So while these guys jump in, I want to thank Matt and Ron. I want to thank Matt and Ron for the great job that, putting this whole place together here at Monadnock Flooring. And I want to thank you for watching our show. And I hope you enjoyed yourselves, guys, right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good. It was
Yes.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed the experience. And I'll see you next time on A Culinary Journey.